everybody. Welcome to Monday. It is July the 8th, and we are coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on Roku, we are on Facebook, and we are on YouTube. We have lots of interesting things to talk about tonight, and I hope you all are putting your questions in caps for us so we can isolate your questions to be asked and talked about. And I hope you all are buckled up and ready to go. And I'm going to hang it over to Preston so he can make introductions to you all and say hi. Go, Preston.
Thank you, Dolly. And thank you all for joining us on episode 63 of The Light Gate. We have an awesome guest tonight. It's you guys, the audience. We always love doing open mic night. It's really fun to interact with you guys. So yeah, get those questions in. I already see a bunch lined up. All questions are fair, within reason. But yeah, seriously, ask us about UFOs, ghosts, whatever, psychic phenomena, anything, out-of-body experiences, levitation, you name it. We're here to answer questions tonight and just have fun. And yeah, this should be an interesting night. Again, we are starting an hour earlier than normal, so I hope you've all adjusted to our new time from 8 to 10 Eastern. I know I am. I get to go to bed a little bit earlier, which is always appreciated. But yeah, before we start diving into the questions, let me just say hello to all you guys in chat. I've said it many times, but it's because of you guys we're doing this show. I remember when I got the offer to do this show, Dolly's like, maybe this might be fun. I'm like, I don't know. This is going to be a lot of work. But we talked it over and decided it would be fun. And I'm really glad I did decide to do it with Dolly. I was on the condition that she do it with me. And we're definitely having fun. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. And let me just say hello to all of y'all, because it's so awesome to see these familiar faces every Monday, week in and week out. So huge thank you to Scarlet Fire. You're the first in. And Michael Kennedy, hello, always bringing the popcorn. Thank you, Michael.
Hi, Kylie.
And Sandra, so glad you could make it.
Sandra is in one of your books, y'all. Sandra is a real contactee, for real.
And who else we got here? Dave Jenkins, hello. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I'm going to star that question from Michael. I didn't see it. Nice.
Yeah, I see it. Oh, yeah.
And namaste of infinite generosity. Thank you so much. Your kindness and generosity and goodwill is truly appreciated. I know I say it every week, but here you are delivering every week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I just adore you. So thank you so much. Who else we got here? Catherine Four Feathers. This is looking forward to open mic night. Yeah, we love doing this because we don't have to worry about getting our guest on or warning them not to swear too much or all the difficulties that go into booking a guest each week. Got some good guests coming up, though, I have to tell you. Okay, who else do we got here tonight? Gamma Galaxy, yo! Thank you for joining us, Gamma Galaxy. And Janice Connett.
Hello, Janice.
Preston, Dolly, and Chatters. Hi, Rat Food. I'm not going to put that up because that's a question and I want to get to it. Who else do we have here? Peak, pronounced Peak. Thank you for joining us. And please, if you have a lot of questions, put them up. We need them. We want them. We love them. Hello, Dave. I'm not going to pop that question up quite yet, but thank you. Thank you. Oh, Heidi. Thank you so much. Wow, Heidi, you have such such a wonderful heart. So giving, so loving. We adore you so much. You're such a wonderful guest on our show. We're going to have you back for sure. I know you've had more.
We need to bring you back for the contest for your book and to plant a tree.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that idea.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to get that set up. We just want to make sure it's all ready to go before we do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Catherine Four Feathers says, please remember to put your questions in all caps. It does help. I will try to see them if you don't, but it absolutely does help. So thank you. Thank you. Heidi Hansen saying good evening. And
Hello.
Arthur, all the way from Northeast Washington. Very cool. I love it.
Cool place.
John Markey, hello, fellow Earthlings. And I'll add any ETs watching too, because I suspect they are listening in. I just have a sneaky feeling. So hello to all the Earthlings and all the extra Earthlings. Okay, Fun Talks TV. Hello. Hi, Mountain Dan. Oh my gosh, we are getting lots of questions. Very cool. I always get a little nervous, you guys, that we're not going to have questions. So thank you for delivering.
Here we go. Yeah.
Hi, Red Peanut. Awesome to see you here. And Real Badger. And
Hello.
that question up for stars. Oh, look at lots of questions, Dolly. This is very, very cool.
Yep.
Z Sun Dragon. Hello.
Sun.
And Becky Duncan. Okay, I am going through here, putting little stars. Hello, Jeremiah Abbott. I love your picture there of the two lions. That's awesome. We love all the animals on our planet. Who else we have here? Jeanette Woods and Brian W. and Gaetano Zorzi. Hello.
Hello.
Halogen Oven TV. Greetings from UK.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't know if I've ever seen you here before, but thank you for joining us. That is awesome. Staying up late. A little less late than we used to, but still very awesome because it's going to be like 3 a.m. by the time the show is done in the UK. So much appreciated, Halogen. Okay. What else do we got going on here? John P. Adventures. Always nice to see you here. Oh, Bob. Thank you so much, Bob. Super appreciated. You guys just warm my heart every Monday. Thank you, Bob. Very, very kind of you. And we have Derek Mulligan all the way from Ireland. Very nice. I so want to go to Ireland. Ever since my parents went there and raved about it. I know it's.
I have lots of relatives over there. So, yeah.
Catherine Fourfeathers, we're having fun too. Yay. Oh my gosh, you guys are really delivering on the questions. Okay, no need to be nervous. We got questions, Dolly. Yay. Arthur says, peace and hippie vibes. Nice. I love it. Okay. Goodness gracious, look at all those questions. Hello, Daniel. Thanks for joining us. And Ben Riley and Jeanette Woods from Sydney, Australia.
Hello, Jeanette.
Peter Terry, Preston is a great storyteller. Oh, thank you. I have a lot of fun doing it, so I appreciate that. Oil Painter, Tribal Dancers, glad to be in the live for the first time. Yay, awesome. Thanks for joining us. Very cool. Audrey Miller says,
I think I hear a bear. I heard growling. No kidding. Kind of like that, only deeper.
All right.
All right. If I hear it again, I will walk out the back door for a minute. Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Who else we have here? Bronk Lander RC. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. You guys, it means a lot. It's very inspiring. It helps us get the show and improve the quality. We need to get a new mic for Dolly. And she's popping out for a second. Seeing if we have a bear in the yard. Okay, who else do we got here? Il Gatto, hello. And Team Woo. Team Woo is here. Awesome. And Jeanette Woods. And gosh, we got a nice big crowd, you guys. That's awesome. Country Mouse. We must have like 25 questions already. Very cool. Stephen says, hi, Dolly and Preston. Greetings from Ireland. You guys are awesome. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Will do. Thanks for joining us, Stephen. We're having so much fun doing this. So thank you. Thank you. And Olivia says, blessings. And Ruth Kleiber, hello. Thanks for joining us, Ruth. It's always a pleasure and an honor. And Van Darkholm. Let's see, who else do we got here? Peak is bringing in the questions. Thank you. Thank you. Here is Country Mouse from Long Island. My name is Sasha, longtime fan. Long Island, New York. I guess that makes you a city mouse now, Country Mouse. Thanks for joining us. Did you see a bear, Dolly?
A coyote, a big one.
Oh,
It was back there. All that whining we were hearing was a coyote, and it was behind where the chickens are. So I made some noise and scared it off.
Hungry, wily coyote. All right. White dragon, hello. And thirsty. Okay. Yeah, we got a first timer here. Summer Girl 2782 says, Dolly, your story in Preston's book Symmetry has changed my life. I'm trying to recover my memories. See, Dolly, I'm telling you, you're reaching people.
Cool.
We worry about that sometimes. Sometimes it feels like we're beating our heads against a brick wall, trying to get the truth out there. But nope. It's awesome that we are actually having an effect. So very, very cool. Oh my gosh, we have lots of questions. So I am super excited. I better get started. Let me just pop up a few more, or we will not be able to answer all these questions. This is Jojo Lafrite. Thanks for joining us. And let me make sure I get all of these questions in there. I need to get all these started up, or else I will miss them.
Yeah. Let's go.
Human Data, Chico, and Shelley Wayne, and Tim Houston, and Maggie Soros. Wow, we've got a big crowd. That is awesome, you guys. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Okay, Janice Connett, loving humanoids and high strangeness. So well written, fantastic stories. Yay! Very cool. Keith Rothwell, Dolly being visited by Bigfoot. One of these days, that's going to be a Bigfoot instead of a bear or a coyote. Hello, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. I'm just trying to get through these as fast as I can. Okay, well, we better just start. I'm just going to star these up so I don't. Just insane. Very cool. And I have to put this one up. Chris D, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We will definitely get to that question. In fact, I'll probably give you cuts because of the donation. Okay, let's see. What else do we got going on here? Oh my gosh. I'm trying to get all the questions started up, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Okay, here we go. I think it's just time to get started. One more. Hello from Palmdale, California. Hope you've got your air conditioner working.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's just get started because, wow, you guys, you are really delivering on the questions. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to kick it off with one question for Dolly. Maybe, Dolly, you have one question for me.
Yes.
But I'm asking this question because I saw it either last time or in email or somewhere, but someone asked, what metal are the craft made from? Because there's reports of magnesium. Some magnesium has been found.
When you make metals, there's a lot of smelting going on and things like that. They're not made here in this dimension. They're made in the fifth dimension, but there are a lot of elements that we have here that are incorporated in them. I won't give you the whole list, but I'll give you a couple. How's that? There is magnesium in them. There's also aluminum, boron, things like that. It's a huge mix. And the metals themselves are produced in such a way as to, on the inside of the craft, to be breathable. In other words, they have pores on the inside. They also array lights on the inside in their skin. They array lights on the outside as well. They're very thick. If you were to touch the skin of a craft. It's kind of springy, spongy-ish, dolphinish, but they're very, on the outside, they're very waterproof and, seal up, airproof as well. But they can array light like crazy. It takes about a year to put a new craft together. And it's funny, there's enough back engineering going on that a lot of the textures and metals of types of things that we have here now are from that. I can clearly see examples of them trying to back engineer the skin and come up with the way that they're produced. So
like the memory metal from Roswell.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder.
If you really are that interested, what you do is catch up on your science and go to engineering school and try to get in with that and become one of those people that, checks it out and learns about it and maybe make up work in a lab to help produce that. That would be cool.
It's definitely an area of UFO research that could use some good scientific research.
Yep. Okay, I got a question for you real quick. I
right.
want to know, when was the first moment, where were you, what was going on when you realized that you actually were a real contactee?
Oh gosh. Well, it wasn't right after I saw a UFO, oddly enough, because I just kind of like pushed that out of my head for some reason. It kind of came on slowly. I would say it took me a good 5 years into this at least. I think when I started to become aware that the ETs were aware of me, I think it really started to hit me after I asked this lady who I had interviewed to come on TV, and she said, okay. And then when it came time to come on TV, she called me like the day before, said, I can't do it. And I'm like, why? This is just a tiny little public access TV show.
Yeah.
Her name was Susan. Susan and Karen were sisters who had encounters with what they called the Muddy Man. They always thought it was the boogeyman because they never saw a UFO. It was just this gray type of ET coming into their bedrooms once a week or so when they were little kids. Mm. And neither of them talked about it. Only when they were adults did they realize, I had the Money Man coming in. She's like, oh, me too. I remember. They compared notes and realized they were seeing the same thing. And would always go to Susan's bed. And when she said, no, I can't go on TV, I asked her why. She said, because the ETs came. They know. And they said, it's not time. I thought, wow. That must mean that they know she's going on TV, so they must know about me. Mm-hmm. That started to stack up. I think when I put out my book, UFO Healings, I had a sighting of an anomalous light. Because I remember I walked on my balcony and I shook it up. I'm like, look, you guys, at the sky. Here's my first book. And I started to really get a feeling like maybe they are aware of me. But yeah, it took years. I mean, I think when I finally started getting sightings where they were interacting with me a little bit, but it wasn't something I was really comfortable with until, much later. Not that it was uncomfortable. It's just hard to believe, I guess. I don't know. But now looking back in hindsight, I think it probably went back all the way to early childhood. I really suspect.
Okay. That's neat. Okay.
All right.
Michael Kennedy.
Hold on. I have to answer them in order. That's only fair.
I thought his was like first.
I don't see any from
all the way at the top. He was the second person in the room, and he was asking questions right away.
Well, I'm going to pop up the first I see you. And I see one, he's 3 down or 4.
Okay. All right.
And if I skip him, you guys, please forgive me. Don't feel shy about re-asking. But the first one is from Rat Food. And the question is the levitation ET does the same as for humans, or are they different because of biology and belief? And what do cities and egregores have to do with this too? I had to look up that term, egregores, by the way. I did not know what that is, but I quickly looked it up. All right. You want to go first, Dolly, or shall I?
You go first.
As far as I know, ETs do levitation 2 ways. One with technology, because there's certainly cases of people being pulled up a beam of light. thought, and Dolly kind of woke me up to this, and I was already kind of circling around it. ETs are psychic. They're very psychically advanced, very spiritually advanced, and have the ability of human levitation. And I wrote a book on levitation. It is one of the so-called siddhis. Siddhis are supernatural abilities that manifest along the pathway to spiritual enlightenment according to yogic tradition. And some examples would be immunity to fire, invisibility, superhuman strength. And these are abilities that certainly exhibit in all cultures. There was a lot of, the Christian and Catholic saints that would have these abilities, including levitation. So I'm going to say yes, it's absolutely connected to siddhis, and egregores, I think, is pretty much the same thing. It's just each culture is trying to find a way to interpret this, categorize it, label it. These are natural abilities that all entities have. And just a quick aside, in yogic tradition, they're also considered obstacles in a way, because you can become obsessed with it. They're not the goal, they're just a signpost that you've reached this. The ultimate goal is knowledge, consciousness, communion with God, or all that is, spiritual enlightenment. You don't want to get trapped by, having supernatural abilities. They're not the goal. But yeah, this is something we can do, and the ETs can do psychically. And frankly, we're beginning to learn how to do it technologically as well.
Yep, I agree with everything you said. ET has advanced to the point that they are psychically taught how to retrieve, hold, push, elevate, lower objects, depending on how strong their ability is. And it's very strong, most of them. They can instantly use it without even thinking about it. They can use that ability. And the way that they are taught is that they see energy like we don't see energy. So they're just moving energy around with their psychic ability. And if you happen to be a human being and you're full of energy, you have an aura and everything, your consciousness is indwelling you, they are able to lift that up and move in any direction that they feel like, or stop you dead cold, or hold you in stasis. And then they do use technology, like you said. They can pull you up in an energy beam. It's called, they call it an energy ribbon, and it's electromagnetic and it's interdimensional at the same time. And they can pull you up that way. They move huge objects with, there's a ball that we fly with. It's a little ball like this. It's electromagnetic, and it's magnetic, very magnetic, and it anti-gravs as well. And it's a dimensional ball, and it swells up when you activate it. And the interdimensionalness of it can bring objects off the ground that are immense, huge even, and they can hold it with that energy of that ball. The person operating it has to be psychic enough to know how to use it. And so that's one of the ways, you see things that are built on this planet, and you go, who did that? Because you didn't do it. Whoever was living there at the time, and that's what they're doing. They're moving it. The little purse and the hieroglyphs, that ball is in that purse. And you see them directing it at things. That's because they're pointing to the fact that that ball in there is what they use to move very, very large objects.
Yeah, that's all over Facebook. What's in the purse? What's in the purse?
That's right.
So there was the answer to that question.
Yep.
You can look that up on the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Okay, moving along. Next question in line is from Dave Collins. He's asking, who do you perceive these ETs to be? Gold skin, looks similar to Gray's, wears blue suit with gold belt, loving and graceful. I can't say that I can recall a specific description of an ET with those exact details, but I will say, taken separately, there are ETs of pretty much every skin color we have and more. And I have heard blue jumpsuits. Gold belt, probably could find one. I might have to dig. Loving and graceful, many people do describe ETs with this incredible grace and love. If you'd like to provide more details, I might be able to look something up for you, but I can't say I've heard that specifically. What about you, Dolly?
I've never seen a being like that, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. Okay. It's just, I am involved with who I'm involved with. And I know that there are plenty of other ethnicities of ET that I have not yet come across. So that could be very well, the golden colored skin. So.
All right. Fun Talk says we need to go a tiny bit faster. We're 20 minutes in, 200 questions lined up. Okay. We're taking. All right. Let me see. The next one is from Peak. How has your friendship with each other, finding each other, affected your overall lives and well-being? You go first, Dolly.
Well, when Talata told me to go and find Preston and look him up to do the book with me, I was dubious at first, and then I found his healings videotape from way back, and we started talking, and after about 2 or 3 years, and he's vetting me all the way through, I realized that we were talking about everything, not just my encounters and all of that, but what goes on in his life and what he's researching. And we had detente going on between us. And I realized that it was becoming a very, very good friendship and a source of somebody to talk to that I don't have the ability to talk to anybody here like I do Preston. And that has evolved into other things. And we realized that we had the same goals, and we wanted to help each other. And I've had a much easier life since I met him. I've been thwarted every which way you can think of. Me when you have a government chasing you around all the time and doing things to you, it's a little downer. And Preston has been pretty much a help to me. He's been a protector, things like that. I mean, it's just been unbelievably cool, and it's progressed further than that. So we're cool.
Yeah, well, I would pretty much echo that and say my friendship with Dolly has certainly been enriching and illuminating and fun and adventurous, and really ramped up my understanding of this whole phenomenon. I'm gonna have to find a different word for it. The whole contact experience. And yeah, we're just having a lot more fun, I should say.
Getting more done too. I wanted to achieve a lot of stuff, and so did you, and we sort of been pinging off each other, helping with that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we're just putting together Symmetry 2 now, and I'm loving that. We're just trying to find time to do more interviews, which is definitely difficult with so much going on. But yeah, it's been absolutely a wonderful experience, and I think we all have enough love to give to all of us, each other. So it's always awesome to bring in new friends. And Dolly's become I guess she'd be my very best friend. Actually, Dolly, it's what you said. I don't have anyone to talk to really in my own family who understands.
Right.
They just don't understand. They're like, oh, that's nice, dear.
Yeah.
So I go, oh, that's nice. Well, let's talk about something else, okay?
Yep.
So that's been probably the biggest effect.
Right.
All right. Here is a question from Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Forgot to ask, does a ship stay cool when in flight?
In flight? No.
When they're flirting, they're not cool.
It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. It is aggravatingly sometimes 78 to 80 degrees on craft. And it's because they do not like cold. Not at all. And they operate much better at between 79 and 80. That's why you sometimes only see them in very little, half the time nobody wears shoes on board either. We're grounding in there. It's just warmer in there. And it could be that the emitters keep the air warmer that way. And it's just easier to let it stay that temperature. Things work better at that temperature in there. And so you don't get cool on a craft. Not really.
Well, when the craft's flying through the air and it's a big plasma ball, does that heat up the inside at all?
No. All the entities that are in that run the cooling coolant. They have like a type of a coolant that, they have veins in them and stuff like that. And it keeps us all cool in all the critical areas. And no, it doesn't overheat us at all. You also have to remember that we have two fields. We have an inner field and an outer field. And the plasma is surrounding the outer field, not the inner field. And when we're dimensional, it has no effect on us whatsoever, ever, because we're out of it. It follows us around, but it's not on us. So.
All right. I'm going to give Chris D cuts in line with his question because of the super chat gives you cuts. And his question is, your take on Dr. Mike Masters' report on his encounter with, quote, them on Jesse Michaels' show. I have not seen that. So do you know of any other experiences like his? He believes the beings are future us in thousands of years. I don't have any good reporting on that. I looked it up because that is one of the theories. It's ETs, it's an interdimensional intelligence, it's demonic, they're angels, they're blah, blah. And one is they're time travelers, us from the future. And I scoured the literature looking for that. And I found a few cases that, I don't know. Not enough to say that they are us from the future.
Correct.
So
Nope.
I'm give a no on that. Is that your answer too? So, nope. All right. Thanks, Chris. I'm going to check that show out because I'm always curious and definitely want to see what that's all about. Okay. Let me unstar that one.
I want to answer that a little bit more thoroughly. The reason you can't come from the future back in time is that if you land in the third dimension in the same time space as everybody else, your body won't land in the same space as everybody else. It's only a dimensional. How do I explain this? There's no time out of the third dimension, no space time, not at all. And everybody can see everything all at once. But you're in a different environment. You're outside of space time. Nothing physical can harm you. Here, the physical is very, very specific. And what has already happened is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Only right now exists. And you can't pinpoint that and come back to it in a full body and expect to be alive by the time you do it. You will fall apart. You'll disintegrate. You cannot exist in a third dimensional space back in time because it doesn't exist anymore. And you would instantly die. You would deraz. You would leave. So that's why there's nobody from the future coming here now at all. When I was a little girl, they brought me into a dimensional space that allowed me to witness outside of this dimension something that happened in 1904. And it was with a relative of mine. And I was given very specific instructions on how to interact with this. But I wasn't allowed to physically touch, do anything. I was so afraid after they told me everything I had to do. I wouldn't even put my feet on the ground. I kept my knees up on a bench. And I only stayed there long enough for them to, do the happy birthday, photos thing. And then he started drawing all of us. And the minute he got done drawing me, I was taken away from it. I was taken out of it. But I was not in the third dimension when it happened. I was not in that moment in the third dimension when it happened. I was outside of it, interacting in that way on their side of things. And it was very fast and very quick. And I did have physical repercussions for it somewhat anyway. I was sick for a day to my stomach. I couldn't eat anything and I almost didn't want to drink anything. And I felt, ew, afterwards. And that's what you're doing. This physical body exists best in the third dimension. To take us out of it causes problems. And if you were to take this body out and then bring back into something that no longer exists behind where you were at, you'll die. It will take you out. You'll disappear. So that's what happens. Nobody from the future comes here. Nobody. Okay.
But they can do some extent of time travel, clearly. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another guy getting cuts in line. Sorry, guys. But Il Gato, thank you for the super chat. And this is a very interesting question. Hi. Why do you think most aliens look ugly? Don't they have a sense of aesthetics? Grazie. I will start, if I may,
Go ahead.
with a very simple and wise aphorism, a saying: beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I think what happens is we are so trained to think of people that look different as being, scary or dangerous. And we immediately jump to like, ooh, because little kids often don't do this. They will see ETs and they're like, wow, you just look different. And there's a number of people who are very, very excited to see ETs and are absolutely amazed at how beautiful the grays look. And others are like, ooh, you're so ugly. It's in the eye of the beholder. I think that's the simple thing. I don't think they are ugly personally. I saw a tall gray and I thought she was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. That's just me. I know it's difficult for people, especially seeing them for the first time can be quite a shock. But that's how I would put that. What do you think,
Beauty, aesthetics is a human construct of thought and way of valuing things. Beauty has value to people, and they're taught this value, and it is inappropriate, morally inappropriate, to teach yourself that or allow it to be part of your thinking. Just saying. And if you want to evolve morally, you need to consider that it is we are not bought and sold creatures, or we don't think we should be. And a lot of times you are made to think that that's where your value lies. Don't let it. Okay.
All right. Moving along to the next question. We're going back in order now. Let's see, let me unstar this one. This one's from Mountain Dan. Hello, Preston and Dolly. Question. Do you know how the mix biological entities with the craft? Is the interface with the pilot telepathy only, or is there physical controls? So I guess he's asking how much of the craft is biological, and do you interface only telepathically, or are there physical controls to the craft?
We telepathically interface. Remember that little ball I talked about? Well, that's part of our my ability to navigate that craft where I want it to go. And I interface, I remote view into that environment in that ball, dimensionally, interdimensionally, where Talat is already waiting for me. And that's how we contact one another and stay together throughout the entire flight. Craft, the ball is a physical thing, and I have a physical hookup to hold the ball in stasis above my head, because that's where I operate it, above my head. But I sit down in a physical chair and I do that. We have physical heads-up displays, but we mostly only see them psychically. There are, for people who we bring on board and stuff, we have displays for them so that they can see things because they're not psychic enough to entertain what we're looking at. And so that's there. There are no bells, no whistles. There's very stark environment in there.
Physical controls do come up. I've heard a few cases.
We have wand for this, for driving, okay, for people who want to fly but can't do it yet the other way. And there are no, Preston, I'm telling you, there are no physical controls for that craft. You ask anybody who's in the military who's come out to talk about it, and they will tell you absolutely not. None, zero. It does not exist. It would be too.
Well, I mean, the little wand you just described, that's a physical
control. Physical thing, but it's not a button you push. It's not in a panel. There's no computer-looking things in there at all. Nothing. It's flat surfaces. Nothing.
Well, that does come up a lot in the crash retrieval reports. People get in there and they're like, "Well, where's the control? There's nothing in here. How do they fly this thing?"
That's right. Michael Schratt will tell you point blank. He's the one that studied most of it, more than anybody around here. And he and I talked about this, and he said, there is nothing in there. And I said, that's right. It's all, the entities in control of the craft, physically in control of the craft. And I fly with him, and he gives me a modicum of ability to direct the craft and do what I want to do with it when I'm flying. Okay. But the air, the water, the cooling, all of that physicality is like his body. He indwells, this becomes his body, and he's running it like we run our bodies. We can make our bodies move from our brain. We can do that kind of thing. That craft is a physically indwelled physical entity with Talata on board, or anybody who's indwelling a craft. And they all operate that way, all of them. So
okay. I'm going to pop up Il Gato because he had a response. This is the guy who asked, are they ugly? They even smell bad. There are reports of this. Some people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh,
And they can be real earthy. Yeah, we're all trained to only love certain smells. This is too bad because humans have natural good smells that you think are gross, and they're really not. You know, the only thing I don't like is methane and sulfur, but other than
sulfur
that,
comes
most
up
things
in a lot of these
those
cases."
are good earthy smells. You know,
All right.
but we're taught to be perfect and have only precious smells, and it's kind of wrong. Here it smells just like they do. Okay, all right.
Okay, well, moving up. Let me unstart this one. Okay, this is about cattle mutilations. Just warning you, this is from Dave Collins. Question: in cattle mutilations, why are those body parts removed? I'll start, if I may, Dolly, because I looked into cattle mutilations when I wrote UFOs over New Mexico first, and then I followed it up with UFOs over Colorado. And those are the two hardest hit states with cattle mutes. And I didn't really want to research that, but I felt it was important to, because this does seem to be related, and I'm going to underline that seem, because after reading all the research of leading researchers in this area, not all of them, but certainly some of them, like Dave Valdez, ultimately said, no, it's not ET's doing this. It is government. That's what Larry Fawcett said. There's a few others who've said that, not all. Got to remember, we did have technology that's not publicly released. We did have reverse engineered craft. Our government does have a campaign to paint ETs in an evil light. As near as I can tell, our government is going to have to answer to this. When I say our government, I'm talking about the one percenters, the cabal, call them what you want.
Shadow government. Yes.
That's
the worldwide shadow government.
That's my assessment of what's going on here. Not to say that ETs don't bring animals on board, because there's lots of cases of that. But no, I don't think they're responsible for the vast majority of what we're seeing termed cattle mutes. I don't even like that word, mutilation. So you want to say anything more to that, Dolly?
I will say that the American Medical Association, the Veterinary Association, the United States has rules about using animals. Okay. And when what they want falls outside of those rules and they're experimenting on things and they want what they want, they'll just go out and take it. And it's an opportune moment for them because they can blame it on ET and not take full responsibility for what they're doing. And they are experimenting with these animals and they're using their parts. And it's not fun for me to think about because it's grotesque in my mind that anybody would think that it's okay to do this, to mutilate or hurt or maim anything, any living thing like that. I don't even like to go there in my head. It's bad. And we humans here are doing this, not ET, not at all.
Okay, moving along.
Oh, I'll bring up one more thing. Where in the history, biblical or otherwise, are there cattle mutilations? Okay. We're the only idiots who thought we had to sacrifice anything, like sacrificing each other and sacrificing animals religiously and things like that. There have never been reports historically from any culture anywhere where animals were mutilated and they didn't know why. So think about that. It's only in recent history that this started. It's not good. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Okay, I see Michael's Kennedy right after this one, and this is another from Peak, who is asking, when I communicate with you two over email or asking questions here, I get crazy vivid dreams and more direct, excited telepathic communication from my ET family the following few days. Why is this? Ask and ye shall receive. I think.
Yeah. You're the one that should be the only one who can answer that. You write it down, think about it, correlate it, keep a running log of it and see if you can't see why pop up and ask the question yourself. If you're getting messages wildly and crazily after contact with me or Preston, ask yourself to ask them, why are you suddenly, hot on trot with me after I talk to Dolly or Preston? Figure it out. You can do it. I can't answer for you. It's your life, your questions, and your thoughts in your mind. This is something you can do. Heal how you feel about things and learn from yourself this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's when you put a question out, the answer will come. The universe, Dolly, you
Yeah.
talk about this.
It's
The all
very
mind
chatty.
being
You
very,
ask the all mind anything, it's going to tell you. That's right.
yeah, because I was obsessing about grays. Like, who are they really? Where are they from? What is going on here? And I got my real only one download that people talk about. And it was basically that they are us, we are them. And it was very clear to me. And I asked and I got my answer. And it was telepathic. It was totally cool. It was absolutely amazing. I just laid down and it came to me in high speed. So I think that's what's probably going on. You're just developing your abilities to communicate telepathically. And this is the best way, I think, to initiate contact, because it's very non-traumatic or fearful and will introduce you to greater levels of contact.
Right.
Okay. Hope
Michael
answers it. Let me just unstar this one. And now we move to Michael's question. Michael asks, what would you ask yourself that you wish others would ask of you?
That's an interesting question. Woo.
Shall I go, or do you want to start?
You go first.
Yeah. All right, fine. I was hoping I could get some more time to think about it. What would you ask yourself that you wish others would ask of you? I would say that I wish others would ask of me. I don't know.
That's a take on do unto others as you would have them do unto you, just so you know. That's a play on it.
If I were to have people ask me a question, I would like to be asked, how do you advance yourself psychically, spiritually, ethically, morally? Because once I asked that, this leads to the previous question. I was asking myself, what can I do to be a happier person, to get more knowledgeable, to just move? Because I was trying to understand what's going on when I found out UFOs were real. And I quickly wrote this manuscript called How Do I Get Enlightened? And it came up with 10 things, which just kind of came to me. So that's what I wish people would ask. And my answer would be to face your fears, realize your desires. That was one of them. Another is to the company you keep, associate with people who are good for you, the kind of person you would want to be with. Another would be charity. Give of yourself and pull yourself out of the equation, because ego is a trap and that will help you escape it. I think those are the main 3 things I can think of. But yeah, that's what I wish people would ask more often, is how can we spiritually evolve? And love is the answer, I think. Allow love and truth to guide your actions. Pursue knowledge. That's the one thing we get to take with us, is knowledge and experience. All right, you have anything to add to that?
Okay, here you go. It might surprise y'all. One of the things that I would love if everybody did for me, that I automatically try to do for everybody, and it's a give and a take communication, is for you to understand that in truth, I want your truth and I want you to hear mine. And to do that, we have to lovingly shut down what we're thinking while the other person is talking, to truly empathize with them and hear what they're actually saying. And then take the time to think about it before you respond. That's what I want. That's what I would wish for others, as I would wish it for myself. That is the beginning of true psychic communion together. And if we all employ that as we're learning to be psychic, y'all, it will greatly enhance it and make it go much faster for you and show you things that you didn't know existed. We have to learn to listen to one another. It's so important, and to embody it in our own selves and think about it before we respond. We're also quick to judge. We're also quick to talk back, because we're overthinking what this person just said. And you miss 80% of the conversation when you do that, because you're not really trying to hear truth. You're listening to your own ideas. And that isn't how we should communicate truth to one another. That's what I want.
Okay. You guys play nice and chat. I will remove you. Okay, just saying. All right, moving along. This next question is, unstar that one, from Real Badger. Preston, did you check out the video of your rebroadcast guest appearance episode on the Paranormal View channel that launched Saturday night? No, I didn't. I'll have to check it out. So thanks for alerting me. But gosh, I'm so busy these days. It's hard to keep up with all of that. But I'll see what I can find out. What was it about? Oh, you got me curious. Okay. Let's see. Next one is Earthling with Rocks. Hi, friends. Do ETs ever speak of religion, theirs or ours? It does come up. I remember we had a guest on the Light Gate. Gosh, what was it? Steve Boucher. He asked them, what's the one true religion? And they said none of them. There was Walter Rizzi from Italy. He asked, what is God? And the ET kind of looked surprised by the question and said, it's you. It's me. It's everything around us. So that does come up. I think we did dive deep into it in the book Symmetry. Dolly talked about that. If you want to give a recap.
Basically, ETs have no religion. When I say they have morality and science and they go together and they've had billions of years to evolve this, that's what they have. They believe, they understand, I guess is the best way to put this. They know that there is an all mind and that we're all part of it and we're all encompassed together and we can communicate back and forth and that it's responsible for us as we are basically for its health as well. That's interesting concept. Okay, think about that. I studied religions when I was growing up at the behest of my father. He said, don't stick with one, just learn them all. And I said, why do you want me to do that? And he said, because it'll give you an insight into how humans evolved and the way they think. It has nothing to do with you worshiping a deity. It has to do with you understanding why humanity is the way it is now. So that's what they think. ET thinks that way also, because I've had conversations with Mama and Talata and a few others about this very thing. And it is a construct of ours, and it has to do with control and keeping people in line and playing by the rules, which doesn't help anyway because people are going nuts everywhere no matter what religion they are. And nobody's taking care of themselves and holding their own, it's anarchy already. So that's my answer.
Okay, I was just making sure we had no more trolling going on in there. Looks like we're good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being kind to each other. It's much appreciated. We're just here to have fun. Okay, here is the next question. Peak is bringing it tonight. Dolly, what can we do to give our loved ones in hospice the best death care possible in cases where they have months or weeks to live based on your nursing experience and reincarnation knowledge? That's a good one.
Number one, celebrate the journey that they're going on. Make sure that they understand that you're with them all the way. In other words, treat them as you would treat yourself in this situation. Treat them as if it's not death. They're just going through a phase and they're going to go to the other side. And it's a family affair. If you all want to show up and everybody want to take turns helping this person to reach the other side happily, as healthily or pain-free as you can, and make sure that they understand that they are loved and they're taking all your love with them, because that's really what it's all about. This is an excellent journey. It's like a new birthday is coming. Celebrate it. Enjoy the process. Learn from it.
Yeah, I like that. Very cool. Okay. Unstar that. Gamma Galaxy. Preston, did you ever have an encounter? I sure did. I started out with anomalous lights, had quite a few of those. Then one little orb came down. I ended up having missing time. Started having a lot of UFO dreams. It's clear that some of these were more than just dreams. It ramped up over the years. I've had some with telepathic contact. I saw another question way there down the list here, so I may as well just jump to it now. because on my birthday in 2022, I had the best experience ever, which someday I'm going to write about, hopefully soon. But before I get to there, I do think I woke up once with a gray in my room. I can't say for sure because it was so quick. But I felt what I thought was a cat walking across my bed, and I don't have a cat back then. And opened my eyes, and I saw something dart out of the room super fast. Made my heart beat really fast because it scared me. I think that might have been something, but I hesitate to say because I didn't really get a good look. But on my birthday, and this was the best birthday present ever, I was just in the dream state when I suddenly saw a UFO. I'm like, this was just a dream, and suddenly it wasn't a dream anymore because I was being pulled up into outer space. And I knew exactly what was happening at that point because I was fully awake. I was not dreaming. And I'm like, well, they're taking me and I'm not coming back. And I'm going to shorten this a little bit because there's some details I'm holding back. I just want to wait until I can really write it down in detail. But I got pulled into a craft, honest to God, right through the bottom, landed on a table. I was laying down. There was a tall, kind of hybrid looking lady, beautiful lady with very large tilted eyes, tightly curled blonde hair, very pale skin. She was clearly not fully human. Little short guys around me, but I was looking at her because she was holding me down and saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm fine. I want to get up. And finally, I jumped up. They let me up. And I was in a big room, about 30, 50 feet wide, with a curved dome ceiling, windows all the way around, tilted at a 45-degree angle or so, a little railing. There was other people there, other ETs. I walked right up to this very tall, beautiful female gray, which I found out is Dolly's main contact after my sister-in-law drew Kisarda's art for me and did it for Dolly. Dolly had Kisara draw Mama. I'm like, yep, that's absolutely her. And of course, Dolly revealed that as well later. So I got to meet Mama, and I ran up to her, walked very quickly right up to her, and she asked me, "So, is this what you thought it would be?" And I said, "No, it's much better." And it was. I was thrilled. It was entirely benevolent. It was the most awesome experience ever. More happened. It was overall pretty brief, 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, very cool experience. They gave me a little green liquid to drink. What else? I tried to talk to some people there. I saw some really ET-looking folks. The ship dropped down to the earth, came back up. I mean, it was so cool. That's it in a nutshell. So yeah, and I've had more encounters. I'm gonna write a book, I promise. I was just waiting till I had my first fully conscious onboard encounter, and it happened. All right, moving along. Wait, first let me do a quick station ID before I forget. My gosh, I hope we can get to all these questions. Okay, I want to thank you all for watching The Light Gate. I think this is episode 63. I'm your host, Preston Dennett. My lovely co-host is Dolly Safran. We're doing a Q&A tonight. We're covering all kinds of questions. We're going to try to get to all of them, I promise. And if we don't, we're planning on doing another Q&A. We do them at least once every other month. We're trying to up that a little bit. And just want to let you know that we are streaming live on 105.3 at the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. That's 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans, and 107.7 FM at the United Paranormal Radio Network, again from the beautiful city of New Orleans. And we are on Roku, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and all our shows are archived. So if you missed the live, don't worry about it. You can find them in numerous places. Okay, now that that's done, let's get back to the comments because they are stacking up. Looks like we got about 75 questions, Dolly. Okay, Fun Talks TV. Will you guys ever do a live session with viewers? I'd love to have people talk with you and ask their questions. That would be fun.
It would have to be a Zoom, and we have to set it up so that we can have at least 60 people in there, like a MUFON meeting.
A telephone or something.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I would like to do that. Maybe just send out StreamYard links and bring people on for a minute or two to share their experience.
Maybe. Okay. We have to talk to our producer, though. I think she warned us about that. We have to.
All right. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Fun Talks, because I like that idea. Okay. Bronklander RC. Question about astral travel. Can a few people use GPS coordinates, like with remote viewing, to arrange a meeting place in the astral realm? P.S. Love you and Dolly Show. So much love and info. First of all, thank you, Bronklander. Second, I'm going to say no to GPS because I don't think technology is going to be particularly helpful in finding people. You just do it psychically, because once you talk to a person, once you know them in any way, you can hone in on them psychically. You just basically give the command. You can have astral meetings, but you both have to be at that ability to be able to do it, because I've tried with so many people. I did it with Kisara, Christine Kisara, my sister-in-law. She remembered it as a dream, but we did do it, and I did it successfully with Dolly, and we've done it quite a few times since then. But I'm not so sure GPS is going to work. So I don't know. Could we have muted a certain location, Dolly, astrally? The Garden Realms or something?
Never. Yeah, if you tell people, what we're going to, okay, it's like this. When I'm flying and I'm going to a new destination, I'm not given coordinates. I'm actually physically taken there by somebody who's already been there. And there are markers all over the universe that they set up with a band number, frequency band number attached to it. And when I'm navigating, I use those sequence numbers, band numbers, to psychically key into where it is that I'm going. Well, it's kind of like that when you're out of body or into the other realms. If you've been there and you've been there and the other person's been there, then you can go back and agree to meet there because you've already exercised where it's at together. Okay. I think that's how that works. It's not GPS, it's cooperative psychic ability working together. I have met a couple people in the outer realms that I spoke with in the outer realms and said, come meet me here and we'll on this day or whatever, or this time. And it's actually worked a couple times. One was at the Healing Temple and one was actually at the Akashic Records Library. But it was somebody who already knew where they were. So one of the things about being able to astral project or, OBE out of body is that you need to take every opportunity to learn where everything is. Teach yourself all of it. It takes years, trust me, to know where all this stuff is. I mean, I've spent my lifetime doing it and I still don't know where everything is. Unless maybe when I pass away from this body and go back to the other side, I'll know. But I'm having to learn it piecemeal, just like everybody else. So GPS isn't going to help you because you can't program a GPS unless the GPS programmer knows where it's at. See what I'm saying? So somebody got to know where it is. And I don't think that technology goes over into the other side, OBE, at all. I think that this is a third dimensional frequency that only occurs here. And it's very technical and it's really out of your hands. Somebody else is doing it for you. You're not doing it for yourself. And the idea is to learn to do it for yourself. That's what ET wants us to do. I hope that's clear.
Woo Riders Dig. I put my question in Dolly's chat room. Will those get answered also? Probably best to put it in YouTube because we're
talking to you all on YouTube right now. The light gate, I don't live to the light gate when I'm in with Preston on his YouTube. We're transmitting from here. So with our two stations. So what'd you write there? I mean, I go back and look after the show and see what y'all say.
Probably best to do it here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to try and get through all of these because, goodness, there's a lot. Il Gato, he gets cuts. Thanks for the super chat. What about flat Earth or the firmament? Could it be that so-called ETs are from other dimensions rather than planets? I personally don't think the evidence shows that. I think they're people like us who are interdimensional, just like we are. I think that there are interdimensional beings out there. There are beings like fairies and elves and gnomes and dwarves and little people in all cultures who are probably not ET as we would think of it, but are getting kind of put under that umbrella. But I don't know that I would call them interdimensional beings from other dimensions, though. To some, I mean, Talata, would he
Is
not?
an interdimensional being. He's from the
Yeah,
fifth
well,
dimension. But
I
he
guess-
can only come here because he's indwelling a craft that can handle being in the third dimension. He's been given a body with this craft so that he can be here. He doesn't travel here on his own. He can't. It's impossible. He can't break through that to come here. So there are interdimensional beings here. Most of them are fifth dimensional, but beings that you see with the body and everything, and you know they can breathe the air or they're from another planet, they are in the third dimension with you. They can travel interdimensionally, but they're not from another dimension. How's that? I know of 3 interdimensional beings. Talata's one of, his beings, where they're from, are one. Light beings are interdimensional beings, and they're from the 4th and the 5th. They look like angels. Okay. And then there's another one that is literally amazing to me. I don't know how many people have perceived them. I've only seen them twice in my lifetime, was able to understand what I was looking at. And these are beings of light, pure light. They go beyond angel looking. They're absolutely pure light. And you feel them psychically more than you see them, but you have psychic sight as well. And I was able to perceive them as they are. And they can show up as anything to you at that point. They can help you understand that they're there by giving you a vision of them. And they are way above Talata. They're like in the 8th and the 9th dimension, these beings. And they are super duper evolved. And I don't know, I was very young when I saw them first time. And I asked the question, why are they here? What's going on? And basically, they were looking at the situation that I was in. I was being watched. And I asked why. And they said, because you're developing and they're interested to know how you're doing. And then I realized, well, do they do this to everybody? And pretty much, yeah, they know who we all are, just like ET does. So think about that one. That's a biggie. Okay.
Louise, I don't see your question. I'm getting through it. Please re-ask it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be here in this list, but I'm honestly not seeing it. Okay. Next, we've got to go through these quick, Dolly.
Okay.
Mountain Dan. Question. Do you know how they mix biological entities with the UFO craft? Oh, we already answered this one, didn't we?
Yeah, they indwell. Yeah, like when you're conceived in your mother's womb, they indwell like that. They go into the craft as if they're being ready to be born. It's a weird process, but they do it, and they actually become the craft. They're the consciousness of the craft, and it's a biological entity, and it's on its own. It's created though by fifth dimensional beings to do that. Okay.
Okay, Ancient Mysteries Art. Hey y'all, Preston and Dolly, have ETs ever mentioned advice about what type of diet we should be eating? Yes. They told Jim Sparks you're eating far too much meat. It's messing up your digestive system. They told Beth Collings or Anna Jamerson you're eating too much fatty foods. It's not good for you. They've told another lady who is having problems with her kidneys. They cured them. And then they showed her liver, and they said, you need to stop drinking Diet Coke, and showed her all these black spots on her liver. They do occasionally give dietary advice if it's helpful. They told one guy to stop smoking. And this sort of thing does come up. It's not super common. What do you think, Dolly? Have they ever told you what
they don't like how we process meat in our planet. They think that we're harming ourselves by the way that the animals are raised and then butchered and processed after that, and it's poisonous, toxic to us. And they used to just want us to all eat fish all the time, but we've even gummed that up. So we just have to be careful what we put in our mouths. In other words, they're asking us to detoxify. They're asking us to pay attention to what we put in our mouth. If you're going to eat beef that hasn't been inoculated and, hormoned up and fed things that it shouldn't have in its mouth. Okay, and then butchering an animal is a process, and it has to be humane. And if that isn't good enough, just worry about what you eat, everything else you eat too. I mean, everything is sprayed, plasticized. It's frightening. Our food supply is not okay. If you can grow your own vegetables that aren't HMO'd at home, do that. Start trying to clean up your body by cleaning up what you put in your mouth. That's the best diet you can go on. And yeah, fat is really bad for people. There's certain kinds of fats you should eat, and there's a lot of fats that you shouldn't eat, and they know that, and they've talked about it. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I'm popping cuts for Rick Schatz. Thanks for the super chat. Very nice of you. You probably aren't aware of this, Dolly. Maybe you are. There's a woodcut that's from 1561. Rick is asking, what was the Nuremberg alien aerial event on April 14, 1561? Did any entities ever discuss what really happened there? There's a woodcut that shows, I think it's like 100 craft in the sky of different shapes. One's crashing. They're all filling the sky. It's daylight because there's a sun there. There's two of them, one from Basel, Switzerland, and one from Nuremberg. Very close to each other. I think it was pretty much the same year even. Massive wave. I don't know if that would be a good question. I'd be very curious what Talata says about that. I think that was a display, honestly, which they do. They've done that here.
Right.
But we can only speculate. But that's a great question.
We also have to wonder what those people were thinking from their perspective, and what they carved or would cut is from that perspective, people were pretty violent back then. People warred with each other all the time. There was all kinds of insane things going on. And so they were overlaying what they were drawing or cutting out for y'all to see from that perspective. So, okay.
All right. Moving along. Okay. Let's see here. The next one is from Brian Morgan. Is it true that when we die, that if we've learned what we need to move on rather than be born here again? Yeah, I think there is some truth. At some point, and someone mentioned this in chat, Earth is a school. I think we come here to learn certain things, and at some point, we've learned all we need or all we can learn from the third dimension and move on to much funner and bigger universes or dimensions or what have you. I don't know. I can only speculate to a degree, but that's what I believe. Robert Monroe talked about this, Bruce Moan and some of the other astral traveler authors. That makes sense. I hope to graduate one day. All right. I'm going to unstar that. Move along. Thank you, guys. These questions are awesome. Peak. Are the first and second dimensions even denser than our third dimension? Like, would those beings perceive us as light beings?
Well,
good. I mean, that's a hard question to answer.
If he was to go into the first dimension, they would just be flat. They would literally be flat in the first dimension. If they had any sort of a body whatsoever, they'd only be seeing everything from one perspective, and that would be flat, straight up looking. If a person from the second dimension, they would have flat and up on their side. So that's the second dimension. The third dimension, we actually live in the third dimension, but we perceive or understand the fourth dimension because our brains are capable of seeing it and understanding it as it is. And yes, the first and second dimension are so gravity heavy, that's all you get, flat and a side. That's it. We get 3 and 4 when we understand what we're looking at. Okay.
Yeah, I bet they would. I mean, if there are entities there, that's what shadow people you think might be.
Yeah, I think shadow people are actually second dimensional beings, not first. I don't think anything alive is in the first. I think that's the mainframe of our existence. And the second one is, yes, shadow people. I think they're entities just going around, and there's not enough light for them to even have any corporeal anything. They're just shadows,
Okay, here's a question from Woo Riders DG. What are your thoughts on the recent mass UFO sighting at the outdoor amphitheater concert in Jefferson County, Colorado? I'm not sure if you've heard about that, Dolly. That's all over Facebook. apparently there was an outdoor theater and something showed up. I'm waiting to see how this evolves. More than likely, it's reverse engineered craft of some kind, given, that ETs
There
aren't
you
here.
gotta also remember there's 7D graphics and they can throw them up in the air as well as on the ground. So you gotta be careful what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And it's not ET, not. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see, because I think some people are now beginning to talk who were there. Okay. Peak, you got your questions in early. See, this is what the benefit of getting your questions in early. Okay, how does dematerialization work? One time you said that even Talata couldn't dematerialize an apple and bring it back to normal, but ETs seem to dematerialize walls and ceilings a lot, then bring them back. I'm not sure that dematerialize is the word. I think they're aligning.
It's not what's going on, not at all.
Quickly though, Dolly, because we got a lot.
Dematerialization, you would destroy whatever it is you're trying to do that with. They become interdimensional and they can go through anything at that point. If you're outside of this dimension and you're in another dimension, you can literally go through anything like a ghost. You become ghost-like, and that's a light. It's the way they bend light and can move through it interdimensionally.
Yeah,
so
solid matter is really just energetic.
All light. We're all light. You just can't see that in us because we're so densely packed together. You can't see that you're molecules of light, protons of light. And that's why people can see auras. It's just the shining of your light, who you are, and what's making your makeup. So that's what that is.
Okay. I did have to kick one of you out. So sorry. But, we've got to play nice.
I can't hear you talking about it, so it's all right.
All right. Frag G. Hi, smiley face Dolly. You once mentioned Faraday cages. Could you elaborate, please? You can look this up online, what a Faraday cage is.
Right.
And just mention briefly, Dolly.
Yeah, I'm in a Faraday environment when I'm on board, because if I wasn't, I would be zapped to the point of extinction. Okay, it would burn me to nothing. I have pads under my feet, and I have a field that goes around me. It's a Faraday field, and it keeps me from being electrocuted. Electrocuted means that you're dead after this. You no longer exist. It stops your life. And I can't handle that, and neither can anybody else. So we have a Faraday environment over our heads up on the place of movement, okay? And when the ball is up above my head, that's when the Faraday mostly is at its strongest point, because I have to be inside that field to be protected, because I'll be electrocuted pretty bad. And that's what I mean. Faradaying is, we can do it on Earth. You have cloth that you put silver in, people who used to walk around with 10 hats, 10-foil hats, they were Faradaying their brains. You don't realize that, but they instinctively somehow knew to protect their brain from CMEs and, directed energy from sources that they didn't want to have come at them. So I have a Faraday blanket at home. I have a Faraday hat.
We're moving along. We got a lot of questions, though. Peak. What are romantic relationships between ETs like? Are they monogamous, polyamorous, or something else? Do they have sex for love and fun like we do, or just for reproduction? Do they go on dates? I know there are relationships, because this turns up in
there are relationships, but they're very, 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 very morally mature, and they don't hook up unless they're either going to create life or they want to spend their lives together. There is no such thing as marriage and divorce among them. They don't have things like that. They hook up, and it takes a long time for them to choose that. Just so you know, they get to know the other very, very, very well, and see if they're going to work together well, because all relationships for ET are working relationships as well as for love. So okay.
Thank you, Lunar Dove. Very nice of you. Okay, then Darkholm is asking, I understand meditation and intent is the key to making contact with ET. Do you have any other tips to make contact?
Learn to be psychic. Use your abilities. Wake it up. Become awake, consciously awake, 24/7 on board with who you really are, able to communicate with your higher self, because that's who you really are. You're not just the physical mind, but you are a consciousness. And if you can use your conscious, speak to your consciousness with your physical mind, you could talk to ET all day long, no problem. They'd answer you in 5 seconds. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's what they want us to do.
And I would also say advance yourself morally and ethically, because they're very much interested in people who are doing the right thing and helping the others.
Right. Heal yourself. Heal all the issues that you have, period. Okay? You can do it.
Okay, I like this one. Do we know if ETs have birthdays? Well, they have birthdays. Do they celebrate them? They have birthdays, right? I mean, we all have birthdays.
They remember them, but they don't. It's not like a big deal. It's like, hey, okay, I was born today. Okay.
No gifts? Oh.
No.
All right. Any holidays?
No. No, every day is a celebration to them. They don't need an excuse. They don't need to create something to celebrate. Every day is joy for them in everything they do.
It's not Galactic Federation Independence Day. Sorry.
No.
I couldn't resist. Sorry. Okay, Peak. Great questions. What does child rearing look like for ETs? Are children basically adults at 1 year old when they get their past life memories back? Are they raised by parents or more communally?
They are born essentially awake. They are aware from birth, and they are encouraged to remember. And everybody gets involved in ET children. Everybody. Okay, it's not just mom and dad, it's everybody. When you say it takes a village to raise a child, that's true. That is the motto of ETs. Everybody helps everybody. They're all psychic. They can all hear each other thinking. Nobody lies. So there aren't any issues or conflicts in the raising of a child, period. So yeah, their whole family is their family, period.
Oh my goodness, I hope we get to all these questions. I see some really good ones towards the end here. Okay. Mike, will Dolly tell us about meeting Anunnaki again? I'll give you 2 minutes, Dolly.
I was aboard a craft. I was very, very young. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And I was walking back from eating. Okay. I was going to my quarters. And there was a room off to my right hand side. It was open, wide open room. And Mama was there. And there were 2 Anunnaki and some other grays there. And they were all communicating. And I was shocked because they're huge. Okay, they're giants. And Mama's no slouch herself. She's very tall. And I was standing there staring with my mouth gaping open. And one of them saw me and looked back and he saw me and he went like this. He shrugged his shoulder at me, come here. And I heard him. And I was like, oh my God. And I started walking to him and he went like this. He flexed his wing a little bit because he knew, he could hear my thinking, oh my God, I got to touch that. And he stood there and let me touch his wings. And he flexed them. He opened them up a bit. He let me see the biology of where they are in his musculature and everything. And they're cool as hell. And I just was like, oh, I started petting him at some point. And that's when Mom went, you're done. Back off. And I did. And I went to my room shaking my head.
By the way, we did a whole interview with Dolly, she and I, about all the ETs she's met. That's on the channel as well. So if you want to get more detail, there's more than just Anunnakis, but she went into it in great detail and in the book Symmetry as well. But I really want to get to all the questions. And there's like 80 of them. So let's keep going. Thanks, Mike. That's a good question. All right. Peak is getting her questions in. Any current mysteries remaining for you two when it comes to ETs and or the paranormal? What would you personally like to learn more about? I'd like to learn what happens after you decide to stop coming back to Earth and go into the higher dimensions. And I've got a million questions about ETs, but that's something I'm personally really interested in, is going higher and higher and higher astrally.
Yep, I learn every day, and there's not enough time in this lifetime for me to learn all that is knowable. I just keep trying. And ETs are a favorite of mine. They're millions and billions of them in this universe, more than that, and thousands and thousands and thousands of things to think about and understand about them. And history is one of them. I started learning history from them, and it's complex and it's I mean, they're a billion or more years in advance of us. So think about what it is I have to try to figure out in this body, in this lifetime short. And yeah, I'm learning every day. Every day. I never stop asking questions, never. So, and going on to the evolving from here, I know that I made it a strict policy with myself in this lifetime that I had something to do, but I also have decided this is my last ride. I'm not coming back. And there are things that I have to accomplish before I do that. And I have to finish healing a few things.
I might
Yeah,
come back. I'm not
yeah,
going to promise, but
yeah. I don't want to come back. I'm done. I'm done.
I
So
might. It's fun. I like the third dimension.
I'm not exactly where I'm going yet, but I've been told that if I keep going the way I'm going, I'll make it. So
Okay, let's see. What else do we got going on next? Becky Duncan. Billy Meyer's story is fascinating. Who are the beings he interacts with? And is he still doing this? I've got all the books on Billy Meyer. His case is controversial. I think there's absolutely genuine contact going on there, but there's absolutely some faking going on. It's a little bit of a mess. I can't tell you. He called them Pleiadians, then he said, no, they're actually called Pleiadians. I call them human looking. I don't know. I'd love to talk to Billy Meyer personally, but I do find his case interesting. I wish I could tell you. You have any insight on Billy Meyer, Dolly?
no, I don't know him. I've never thought about him or knew about him until I came out and I started hearing about people and things. And I can't talk about somebody I don't know. So the only thing I could say is if you're of a mind to make contact with me, I'd love to talk to you. Otherwise, I don't know what to say. You know, it's his life and his voice, and y'all have to work on that yourselves. You know, make up your mind, do your own research, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Peak says, feel free to skip any other questions from me. Thank you, Peak. But you got him first, so you know it's only fair. Okay. Janice Connett, so sweet. Would anyone like to read Heidi Hansen's 3 books? I have finished them and would like to pass them on.
Ooh.
Do read them. You know, check them out. They're not that expensive. It would really help Heidi too. I've got some copies. She's amazing. I really adore her. Her books are so honest and so sincere and super fascinating because they cover such a wide gamut of experiences. Ghosts and premonitions and ET contact and all kinds of really cool stuff. But
I regard Heidi as a hybrid sister. Okay, she's from my generation, and when we talk, I realize that she's like me, a lot like me. So, yeah, you should read her book. She's fantastic.
That's very kind of you, Janice. Okay, question from White Dragon. Preston. Oh, I've been called worse. Preston, do you know if you have ET hybrid children anywhere? I suspect I do. I said it was okay many years ago. I'm like, if you guys, you know, I'm happy to do it. I had started having some ET dreams that are more than dreams where I'm holding children. I love kids. You know, I don't have any here on Earth, but I've held some babies on ships. I have. I think I might. Well, I sure hope so. I think Dolly says, yes, I do. So I'm super excited, but I don't like to think about it too much because it makes me a little bit poignant. You know, I really, if that's true, and I think it is, I want to meet them. So yeah, I'm going to say yes, but I'm still not fully cognizant of it. Okay, Peak, you said I could skip, so I'm going to skip that one because, well, let me just say it anyway. What the heck? What question do you wish an audience member would ask, and how would you answer it? It's kind of what Michael's question was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Ask us anything. Okay, moving on. Keith Rockwell. Question, Dolly, have you indicated how long the ETs will be off-world?
Long enough for our poles to change and our magnetosphere to regain its strength, and they can come back then. And unfortunately, a lot of stuff's going to be happening between now and then. The CME is the one that's going to take out the grid will hit already by then. And then it'll be a little while after that, because once they start popping that hot, those CMEs, and coming in like that, and our magnetosphere is down like this, there'll be multiple CMEs. The first one will get the grid, and then anything else left behind. Let's put it that way. It's going to cause problems. Probably there are different thoughts on this. It could be, like 8 years. And then we also have the added extra fun of knowing that our sun's eventually going to micronova, and that's within that time frame. So they got a short amount of time to make it here again, grab and go, because they don't want anybody out here while that micronova is going on. It's bad. It's very bad. So it's going to cause the planet to flop over and all kinds of stuff. So.
Okay, Ilgato. Is this general Q&A, or what is the exact general? Anything you want to ask? Okay. Moving along. Audrey Miller. Dolly, there are sightings being reported around the country. You told us that ETs are not anywhere near Earth.
Nope.
Danger of semis, please explain.
Back engineering, 7D holography. The government, the shadow government's up to no good. Be careful.
And the occasional ET drone, right? Very occasional.
Only when they've got clear, and it's getting less and less opportunity now. I mean, we're having the phase of sun that we're in right now. It's happening too much. They can't take a chance of being here and it go off, and they're happening a lot. We've got a sunspot right now that I guarantee you is nasty, and it's going to pop, doing all kinds of things. And there's a bunch behind it. We're really going into a phase right now where it's going to happen more regularly, way more than now. So.
Here's a question from Halogen Oven TV for our kind hosts. Have there been any ET encounters on a sub-micro scale, firefly-like size? There are some cases of miniature UFOs and tiny little ETs. Enough, I think, that there's some legitimacy to it. So I'm going to say yes. I don't know. What do you say, Dolly?
Yep. Micro universe, macro universe. There's a lot going on. A lot.
Okay. Let's move along then. Megisaurus, what's the best case you know of where the individual has got into a deep discussion with them outside of the usual environmental message? Deep philosophical debate with them. Well, other than Dolly Safran, I would say there's a few cases. Betty Andreassen's case is pretty involved. I've occasionally interviewed people. I like Don Anderson. His case is controversial to some. I'd interviewed him. He got some answers. I did a whole episode on ET conversations. I'm not sure I can pinpoint any one exact case. Billy Meyer, if his case is legit, certainly got deep into it with him. But I wonder about some of the aspects of his case. Okay. I'm sure there are people out there. Dolly is not the only one. They're just very shy about talking. Okay. Oh, here's a question that I remember now. Eduardo Goldval's Jen is asking, my question is, do humanoids use skincare or have beauty routines?
Humanoid, you mean humanoid ETs? Do they use skincare? Not like we do. Hell no. They eat right, they're healthy. They don't, they don't abuse themselves really. And no, they use it medicinally, healthcare medicinally on their skin. But other than that, no, they're not. They're not.
No makeup, no false eyelashes.
No.
I've seen there's cases of them coming down with wigs on. Just saying.
It has nothing to do with healthcare. Or beauty. They're just trying to fit in, and if they don't feel like they fit in, they'll put a wig on. Yep.
Well, that's kind of what we do. So, in a way, yes. All right. That was a good question. Okay. Jeanette Woods, what do you think of the black hole and the universe getting brighter? Uh-oh, don't get Dolly started on black holes.
Brighter because it released a ton of energy. They're not singularities. They're not permanent wells of, smashing and crashing things. Garbage in, garbage out. They're like quasars. They do spit energy out. We just haven't been able to focus on it or photograph it or visualize it properly. Black holes are constantly spitting stuff out. You just don't see it. And the time that it lit up, something really big came out of it at that point, or something really big went in and you saw the flash of energy from it, If you throw a firefly in a real fire, it lights up, right? Well, something big could have gone into that and it lit up or it released. We won't know. We don't have the ability to know that.
Another question. Are there any, this is from Megasaurus, any cases of encounters with elephantine humanoids? I don't know of any. I know a science fiction book.
I know that elephants are extremely sentient beings. Okay, you have to start seeing them here for what they really are. You have to start seeing the animals on this planet as sentient beings. They all are. We're so egotistical as to think that we're so perfect or elevated or evolved than they are, and we are not. In some instances, we're less evolved. Okay, so think of it that way. And if there's a chance that there's an elephantine type of entity somewhere on another planet, in another galaxy, or somewhere else in this galaxy, that could be. I don't know. I just know that the ones that we have here, you need to treat way better than you do, because they think just like we do. They have emotions. They cry. They love their children. They protect their children. They protect each other. They have animal instincts, but that's for survival. If you lived out in the wilds by the seat of your pants, you would act a lot like an elephant. Think about that.
All right.
Okay.
Question for Dolly. If ETs have been gone for 2 years, when will they return? The magnetosphere is down a lot. Would they still return and put themselves in danger to save humanity from global disaster?
Nope. We should be saving ourselves. I'm sorry. We've had more than 100 years to think about this. We've had more than 100 years to put down the governments that have run us and gotten away with murder. It's our fault, and we need to fix ourselves. This is how we evolve. This is the greatest lesson any of us will ever learn here, and it's serious. Think about that. If you keep expecting somebody to pick you up and wipe your butt, you are thinking the wrong thing. Okay, so.
Okay, then. Well, yeah, they'll come back once the magnetous,
when it's down, and if anybody's alive by then, okay? I mean, so we have a shadow government that's planning terrible, terrible things. Y'all need to wake up. You need to smell the coffee. The day is coming, and our Earth is going through major
once the CME hits.
We have patterns there. There's no such thing as global warming except that we warmed up, but it isn't our fault. It's the sun. Okay, we have regular intervals of this, and we have lots of information out there that you all could learn this for yourselves and understand it. Here we go again. I'm going to start saying suspicious observers again. Please go to that website on YouTube. Please go through his playlist. He can teach this far better than I can tell you in 15 minutes flat. Go do, as he says, your homework. Learn it. He teaches it really well. I really admire the work he's put into this. It is very good. Go watch. Okay.
We're going to start doing this rapid fire.
Okay.
Do them all. Have you ever heard of Tuatha de Danann? They called them the Shining Ones. I have not. That's from Derek.
Danann? That's an Irish thing.
Tuatha de Danann. I haven't heard of that.
The last part of the name is Danann is Irish. And I don't want to go into this. No, it does not exist. But go ahead. Next question. I'm not even playing with it. Okay.
Okay, Olivia. Question, how does one reconcile the differences on how contact is going to occur, positive and negative? Thank you. Move beyond fear and probably be perceived as positive.
Yeah.
That's a difficult question to answer because someone can have
We've already had contact.
Fearful.
You have to wake up to that. It is spiritual.
Negative.
Yeah, you have to understand that we've already had contact. Now it's up to us to make contact with them. And the only way you're going to get it now is psychically, because they physically are not here. Not now. So work on it.
Next one. What is your favorite UFO memory, Dolly? That's from Christopher Harmon. Mine is easy. It was my birthday onboard experience. That's my favorite.
Very first freaking time I saw that tree on Indiama. I'm not kidding you. I had a glass jaw that day. It crashed on the ground in front of me. It's like, oh my God, when I was a young woman, I went up into Sears Tower, went all the way to the top and leaned on the glass and looked over the side. It was nothing compared to what I saw. That tree, I will never forget. I still smell it in my mind. I can still the air around it. Oh my, spend hours up in that thing. Yep, that's my best. Okay. I
Okay.
love trees. Okay. That did it to me. Okay.
Megasaurus asks, can you do a video on the largest UFOs ever encountered? I was looking into that, and I found the reporting on it very all over the map, because people say, oh, it's 3 football fields. It's a huge shit. I'm still looking into it because there are people who
There's a lot of conflation and
enormous craft
going on. They can't come down like that. They would have to employ too much energy and it would burn everybody up. So no, they don't come down like that. They're just conflating it.
There are people who see giant motherships and they're on board. I don't know. I'm looking into it. I'm finding the research on that really difficult.
Yeah, it's a gravity thing. Okay, something that big would mess with our gravity as well. It just don't.
Do you guys think Rick Doty really is legit? I don't know. He is an admitted disinformant. So that's all I can really say about it. I've not talked to him.
So I don't know who he is. Okay.
Okay. Silver Saucer. Is there any connection from UFOs to Hermeticism, Rosicrucianism, or the Hermetic Order of the Dawn?
There's
some interesting.
There's some real stuff going on in that question, and it's not real stuff. Rosicrucians are an outlet of the Templars. It's just another group of them. They have you got the Army, the Navy, the Marines and stuff. The Rosicrucians are like Templars and Masons and that kind of thing. And the others are made up. They don't exist. Okay.
Okay, I'm not asking that question. Let me see. Here's one. Fun talks. Kind of off topic, but I've watched the movie Nope and loved it. Have you seen it? Nope.
Yes, I've seen it.
You saw Nope? No, you didn't.
I did too. I watched it. You were in the room and you didn't want to see it, and I watched the whole thing.
The movie Nope, about negative ETs.
Yep. And I was mad as hell. I was very quiet. I sat in the chair like this. I was not happy about it. I saw Look Up. About 2 days later, I watched Look Up, and that made me feel better. Even though it was like crazy, but yeah. You know what an impactor is? Do you know that Ben Davidson brought this up the other day? I was watching, I was like, exactly. I think he put it up today, as a matter of fact. An impactor is something that hits the earth from somewhere else, okay? And it isn't going to be the impactors that hit Earth and have only hit Earth like that. The big ones, that caused the dinosaurs to die and everything, weren't from the Kuiper Belt. They were from the sun blowing out the entire surface of itself at us. And yes, it's going to come at us, big, heavy objects, and they're going to impact everything. This is serious stuff. The sun is capable of blowing out huge amounts of ejecta, and it hardens on the way here. Truly, that's what is going to impact this Earth when the sun micronovas. It's a big deal. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Fun Talks TV. Question for Preston. I've been following your astral travel stories and videos since day one, almost. LOL. Thank you. But I am curious, have you ever experienced lucid dreaming? Do you like it? Is it similar to OBEs? Yes, I have experienced it. I do like it. And in my opinion, it is I don't want to say an inferior form of OBE, but in a way it is, because you're still dreaming. You haven't broken through to full consciousness, because you can basically, it is an OBE. It's the same darn thing. You're just not perceiving the environment around you as objective. It's your projections, your mental projections. And I love them. They're so cool. You can have all kinds of fun with them. But if you can lucid dream, you can absolutely OBE.
You already are?
Yep. If you're lucid dreaming, you're OBE. Okay. This is another question about CME. We don't know when the CME that will take us back to the Stone Age will hit, but do we know when at most it will happen? Within a month or year if possible. It's very hard to predict geological events.
If you ever heard of that word before, it's like nobody really knows. You can predict an energy situation where, because the sun is at high energy levels right now, we're in solar maximum, and our magnetosphere is down, and even the smaller CMEs coming in are 10 times larger hitting us than they would have been because our magnetosphere is not pushing them away, pushing them to the side. So we don't know what's going to take us out. If our magnetosphere continues to keep going down like it is, it could be an X-class CME, KP 8, 9, 10, 11 that take out our whole grid because our magnetosphere is that messed up. They just don't know. They're predicting that it could be anytime now, which is a possibility, or wait for the sun to come out of maximum, go to minimum, and that's a whole nother ballgame too.
Probably not more than 5 or 10 years max.
Yeah,
But we'll
a
see.
super minimum can actually do just as much damage on us
All right.
with the CMEs coming from that because the sun never stops.
I think it's hard to predict geological events, period.
You cannot. It's
Okay,
we all know
next
coming. It's gonna
question.
happen.
We're
overdue.
to go fast, Dolly.
All right.
Okay, ancient mysteries art. How do we move past our fears so that we can help others if when there is disclosure? I sometimes wish for contact again during the daytime, but when the night comes, I am just too paranoid. Leave fear behind by recognizing we live in a safe universe. You are immortal. Love banishes fear.
Right.
Okay. Can ETs get fat?
I've never seen a fat ET in my life. Ever. Not one time. Okay.
I know a case from Romania where the guy just 2 police officers described big bellies on these ETs. So I don't know. Otherwise, I can't think of any other cases. Okay. Brian W. Does Dolly remember most of her experiences more than normal?
I remember all of my experiences.
Sure does.
Yep. I remember my past lives as well. I'm very awake. So.
Polly Rodman, what about under-earth aliens?
Oh, I wish y'all wouldn't go there. I wish y'all would just drop that out of your heads. I want to tell you something. Have any of you ever been to a place like Ruby Falls in Tennessee? It's very deep there, and there's a waterfall under there through the rocks. And you go down in this elevator, and you go down about, 80 feet, 90 feet, 100 feet. And
so no is the answer.
No, hell no. You would die. You can't take that kind of pressure at all. No living organism can, except maybe mold or fungus.
Still got a bunch of questions, Dolly.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to do rapid fire because we have like 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah. Are we allowed to go over it all? Okay, we can't. Z-Sun Dragon, do you believe that future you can visit now you in dream state perhaps? Yes, you can get precognition. I'm not sure you're visiting the future per se, but you can
you're gaining it somehow. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a time of night that seems to lend itself to having the most sightings? Most sightings do occur late at night, I think, because that's when it's visible, but that's in the past. So hard to say now currently, but in the past, certainly, yeah, it would be 2, 3, 4 a.m. So a lot of major encounters. Okay. Do you know anything about the Ashtar Commander Federation? Skeptical. That's all I really, as far as Galactic Federation, I'm skeptical.
It's BS. Thank you. Not saying another word. Okay.
Okay, boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Have you received information about Maldex? I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. Maldek, maybe? Isn't that the planet Maldek? The one between Earth and Mars or whatever it was? I don't know. Okay. Dolly, have you heard of Emery Smith? I have. He's got quite a controversial reputation among researchers. That's all I can really tell you. I'm not sure about some of the information. I haven't talked to him personally, but I can just tell you he's controversial. Okay. Do you guys know Chris Bledsoe? Not personally. I did meet with him at a convention. He's a very nice guy. He had a healing, so I talked to him. I gave him my book on UFO healings. We're trying to get him on the show, but he's not responding. So hopefully we can get him on the show. Let's see, who else do we have here? Oh, goodness. Thank you, Joe Wall. That is awesome. Such very, very nice of
Oh my
you.
gosh. Thank
Not
you.
all visitors spend a lot of time talking about their technology. In my experience, they just want to talk about life lessons. Thank you. Exactly. This is the kind of message people will get. It's very personal to them and not just the earth and tragedies and all this. They're very interested in helping people evolve. Okay. We already answered this one. We already answered this one. Are you guys familiar with Dr. Carla Turner's work? Oh, sure. I've got all her books. She has a pretty negative viewpoint towards ETs, but if you read her accounts, some of her clients absolutely don't. She reports healings. She's got several clients who said the ETs told them, "You are us, we are you." She talked a lot about my labs. I think she did some important research. I think it is a little fear-based. That's my opinion. But I think that her cases are certainly worth looking into. Dolly, you probably don't know about her. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't come here knowing about everybody, just so y'all know. I'm trying to catch up. And I've only been doing this for a few years, so it's like, okay.
Michael Sala recently interviewed David Adair. We were just talking about David Adair. He has a relationship with the Starship entity. I looked into him. He seems like his resume is legit. His story of seeing a craft in military custody and communicating with it as an entity matches up with some of what Dolly is saying. So I'd like to talk to him. All right. Dolly, you probably don't know really anything about him, but okay. What else do we have here? We're going to have to close this up real soon. Question for President. In your research, do you find some single reported cases as believable as trace multiple witnesses and other types? Certainly. I like multiple witness cases, but a single witness case, it can be just as legit. It's pretty rare, actually, because almost every contactee can point to a friend or a family member who is there with them. Okay. Let me see. Dolly, what do Gray's skin feel like? I saw that question way down there. I know you can answer that in a second.
The tall grays have, they feel like hairless cats. Okay. They have really thick skin, like a cat. And they're very, there's like a strange, weird down on them, like a hairless cat, but no hair. It's real close to their skin. Like we all have like a downy kind of feeling right here. Most of our bodies are covered in really light hair. Well, theirs is a little bit more thick because their skin is thicker. It's kind of cool.
All right. Well, our 2 hours are up pretty much.
Yeah, they're more waterproof than we are.
Any movement on the craft while flying? No. Not really.
I feel the movement that Tolada feels. I mean, I perceive what the ship's doing through him. He shares that information with me. It helps me orient to what I'm doing. But physically, I feel no G's, nothing. I feel no movement whatsoever.
Do we have proof that it's not a flat Earth? Yes, we do. I think if you look into the science of it. Okay, you guys, I think we are going to have to end it. Are we in a simulation? No. We're out of time. We're just flat out of time.
I know. I wish we could go on and on and on and on. We'll do this again real soon.
Oh, we actually got through most of the questions.
Yes.
Have you ever crashed a UFO, Dolly?
No.
That's one of the questions.
No, I have not. By the skin of my pants, I have not crashed ever. You would not know me if I had. Yeah.
Do ETs live in houses?
Yeah, they have homes. Not like ours, but yeah, they live in a home.
All right. Well, we're flat out of time, you guys. So sorry. We tried to get to most of the questions, but I want to thank you all for this really super generous donations you guys have given. It's unbelievably kind of you. Thank you all for joining us tonight and all the wonderful questions that you provided to us. We had a blast. You guys make it easy. We love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are just the best. You make this so much fun. And we are absolutely blessed to have you. And thank you.
Thank you very much. mirror exactly what Preston is saying. We have come to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana from the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on Roku, Facebook, and YouTube, and we have many, many listeners worldwide. We say hello to you all. We pass love to you, including our audiences here. And I want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will see you next Monday. Good night, everybody. Love. Bye.
Love you all. Thank you.